Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. This is Diana and this is
Ariana.
And we're so excited today to talk about squash, squishy squash, because it is fall and a pumpkin. So on our channel we do everything gluten-free, usually dairy-free, lots of health tip kind of things, and our goal here is to make it simple and easy for you. This is kind of like, if I can do it, you can do it. That's 100% my heart. I 100% believe you guys can do this, because going gluten-free can seem overwhelming, but once you get used to it, it's no problem. So go ahead, if this is the kind of thing you like, then subscribe, like, comment below, and we're really glad that you're here, and we hope this is helpful, and we're ready to have some fun. Ready for some fun?
Yeah.
First of all, you're gonna need some squash. This is anyone?
Demo, please.
Spaghetti squash.
My spaghetti!
Which is one of my favorites. I love veggies. Squash has never been a first love by any means. This one I do really like because, you know, I use it just for noodles, and I'll show you at the end how I usually season it. And then we have our pumpkin. Now this is our little pie pumpkin sticker. So these are much sweeter. Now honestly, your can of pumpkin is probably gonna be just as easy as this. This has kind of a more delicate, lighter flavor, but I wanted actually to kind of show what it's like and where the pumpkin comes from. And of course, pumpkin is actually just a squash.
It's very good for arm development, for let's say the biceps, okay? You start around your thigh area, and then you move them up slowly to your shoulders, and down again, up. And always very slow, and concentrate on the muscle you're training. It's a very simple exercise that everybody can do right from the beginning. Why don't you try to do one?
So first of all, you need a sharp knife. Don't worry, I've been trained. I'm a professional.
Too easy.
So first you're gonna do is cut off the top to give yourself a really good, stable way to cut it. Yep. And then I'm just gonna cut this in half. This is a nice small one, so it's not too hard. Ta-da! And Ariel's favorite part of the pumpkin are the seeds, right?
No, it's pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie, yeah, of course. But one thing we like are the seeds. So we're gonna save those.
Look at that slime.
Yeah, you wanna do it? There you go.
Tell me a way to get off the seeds if you have any short tips or anything. Because I think it's really hard. We're back.
Here's a way. This is what I was looking for. So this here is a grapefruit spoon. And it is fantastic because it's got the rough edges there. See, then you can kind of scrape that off a lot easier. So this stringy stuff in the middle, that doesn't taste good. It's pretty bitter, actually. So you don't want that. That's what all the seeds are attached to. We want to scrape that off, out of here. Get out.
I found a string.
Yeah. Some squash are kind of harder than others to get it out. Okay. You can totally just use your... Okay. So I've got my two pumpkin halves here.
Okay.
Here's my spaghetti squash. So again, I'm going to cut off the top here. Oh, that one was even easier. And then I'm going to cut it in half. And a sharp knife is really helpful.
No, for me.
Not for you. Not recommended to be done unsupervised.
Hey!
Hey, my husband gets a little scared if I have a big knife. It might be because I'd be cutting it and I will turn around to talk to him and I'm like waving a knife. Oops. Okay. Oh yeah, this one's a lot easier to get the
Can I do
seeds
the
out.
other one?
Yeah, here.
Can you roll up my sleeve?
Yeah, this one comes off a lot easier. Boom.
What's a good feel?
Okay, so now I have all my squash here, and actually another trick I do sometimes is I cut this again, like this, so we have smaller pieces, which means quicker cooking time. Yay, because you're gonna roast this in the oven.
Roast it.
Yep, and you want it to be almost burnt, but not, that's how I like it. We could do, these ones I might do a little bit less, but you want some brown going on. That's flavor. That's the whole reason I'm roasting it. What I also do is I'm gonna season it. So On my pumpkin, I'm just gonna do some oil and salt because a lot of times with pumpkin, once it's cooked, you go sweet. So I'm not gonna add my other flavors. So I got some of my pink salt here. Gonna spread all over, and sometimes I kind of like rub it around there. But on my spaghetti squash, I want all the flavor I can get, but none of the stickers. There's a sticker for you.
Okay.
So then what I'm gonna do, I'm going to take the lid off the top so the oil can come out. Put some oil. So the goal is just you want to cover this with oil so it's all covered to help it cook well. It's not about getting a whole bunch of oil on it. Olive oil is my favorite oil usually to use on this. You can kind of use whatever you have or want. Okay. So you're doing good. I'm going on these ones. I'm gonna do pink salt. This what I'm showing you right here is how I season a lot of things. Like this is how the base of what I start off. And then I have garlic powder. So a little bit of garlic powder. And then pepper. Ground pepper, if you have a grinder, that's great. You can be fairly generous because you're just doing the outside of the squash. So when I shred it for the spaghetti, a lot of that has no flavoring on it. So you can be fairly generous on here. And then crushed red pepper. It's not super spicy like this.
That's mine.
But if you don't like spice at all, just don't put it on. You know, make the recipe yours. Have it work for you, not you for it. I'm gonna roast.
Who should I roast this week?
What about Cassim?
Yeah,
It would be an honor.
Cassim.
What do you dress like? You're like Harry Potter's accountant.
This in the oven, about 375 for maybe even a solid hour. They're kind of smaller, so they might cook faster, but it always takes longer than I think. You want it well done.
The seeds?
Nope, not yet, actually. Now we have the seeds, our magic goodness. They are jam-packed full of good things because they're gonna be life for the next plant. So we're gonna do oil.
Couple
splatters. All right, measuring. Maybe a tablespoon, that might be too much. It's probably about a teaspoon and a half. But it depends how many seeds you get because each one's different. So I like seasoned salt for my seeds. Make sure it's gluten-free. This is the one we use. But just make sure because they'll add soy sauce, like dried soy sauce that has gluten in it. No bueno. Right, Ariel?
Cook right.
Okay. Can you? Yep, mix it.
Oh yeah.
So the seeds take 10 to 15 minutes to cook. So I usually have my squash cooking, I put in the seeds and I set a timer. Because if I do not set a timer, I forget all about them.
Mom, I like extra seasoned salt.
You're saying more salt?
Yeah.
Anyone else have kids who love salt? This girl would go to a salt lick for a party, I think.
Same with mine.
Okay. So we got out most of the squash strings. You want to get rid of all of them. Okay. So I'm going to spread it out so that it can kind of dry there. So I recommend a 350 temperature because some of them will burn. And what I do is I set a timer for about 6 or 7 minutes and then I'm going to shake it, stir it around, and then put it back in. Keep an eye on it. I have burnt many a seed and cried because they're so good. Okay, it's only been like 15 minutes and our seeds are done.
Can I eat them all first?
We have to share some for me. But the great part about this is squash takes a while, so if you need a pre-dinner snack, this is one you can be very happy about. So, okay, I have my finished squash here, my pumpkin over here that I'll take the back off and I'll separate it and put it in a container. Then it's ready for use for pumpkin pie, pumpkin muffins, pumpkin pancakes, which I have. You can check those out. They are amazing. So just let me know. I would love to hear what your favorite pumpkin thing is. And I'll be interested to try this texture versus the canned texture. Super excited for my spaghetti squash. So here it is. My bottom is a little dark, and that's what I want. You want fork tender with your squash. So see how it shreds really easy. This is, y'all, it's just crazy, see? I had never had this till a few years ago, and I was like, it really is like noodles. It's like spaghetti. So it's so fun. It has great flavor. So another thing you could do is literally just make a sauce with like olive oil, garlic, salt and pepper, some parsley. Like that would be really tasty. Pretty much anything. I like it best with spaghetti sauce. It's also easiest with spaghetti. Like that's just easy because my kids aren't gonna eat this, which my husband and I are okay with, and we don't have to share. So then I just make a bunch of gluten-free noodles for them, and then we have the squash and they have the noodles, and everybody's happy. Okay, and Ariel is resting. She got a little tired. Okay, so I only have a small amount right here. This is actually a small spaghetti squash that I have, but I have my sauce here. And I tend to use a canned sauce and then add a bunch of veggies. That's what I do. So I like mine saucy. Do you like your noodles saucy? That's me. And then, of course, I always have to garnish, right? Today I have a bunch of dried, well, it's fresh thyme that is kind of dried out from my mom's garden again. She's amazing. That I'm putting on there. Of course, basil would be fantastic. Parsley, anything like that. Just adds that kind of like freshness to it. And then you could add Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna add some of the nutritional yeast, which has a cheesy like taste, but it's good. I'm not gonna feel bloated. Just dumped a whole bunch on that. Meh. And then I have some of my own, I put olive oil on here, but you could do a butter of some kind, and then salt and garlic for my garlic toast with my gluten-free bread, which of course I also have a recipe for, but I love that bread toasted with soups and spaghetti, pasta. It's just phenomenal because it's hearty and it's just very yummy. Very excited. Here we go. My favorite way to eat spaghetti is always with my bread, my toast here. My family, I don't know if any other family does this, but they would have spaghetti sandwiches, kind of like spaghetti tacos if you've done iCarly. But we would always do bread and butter. Because I wasn't a big spaghetti fan. I need lots of flavor, and I'm not actually a big fan of ground beef in my spaghetti. I like it with my hamburger, but not my spaghetti. I'm probably crazy. Okay, see? This is the perfect bite for me. It's so great. Because I'm not like, man, I wish this was pasta. It just tastes good. Without feeling bloated, and then I can have more bread. Whatever. So, good. I hope this was helpful. I had a lot of fun. It's really fun in the fall to cash in on all these great squashes, especially if you're trying to eat more healthy as we're gearing up to the holidays. This is a great way to replace meat even with something really hearty so you don't feel like you're missing it. And you can it's just adding the right flavors really make a difference. If you just have steamed squash or something, like it's so not the same. Okay, thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to subscribe, comment below, say hello. I love hearing from you. I really appreciate you guys taking time to comment and tell me your story of being gluten free.